All right, how's it going, everybody? I thought she was leaving. I was like, that's so disrespectful. She leaves right when I come up here. No, she's just coming here to the front. Nice to be here again. How many people were here last year at this event here, at this conference? Some of you all, how many of you is first time? First time here. Okay, a lot of you first time, all right. How many people are not selling on Amazon yet? Like you're about to get started, okay? How about selling less than a year from just started or to 1 year? And then how many selling more than 1 year? And how many are not paying attention and didn't raise your hand? Okay, okay. All right, so a lot of the things I'm going to talk about today, I think it doesn't matter what level you are, you're going to find it interesting. So let's go ahead and get started. 5 under the radar strategies. And actually, what E was talking about, those are under the radar strategies. She had a lot of interesting topics, and I'm just going to keep it going and talk about some more unique strategies that you can do. Number 1, finding out which variations sell the best. Because you know, a few years ago, Amazon gives the same BSR for every child item, right? So number 1, one way is by looking at the number that you see in the search results for how many bought. Now, that's not how many units were bought, but approximately how many customers bought this product. So it's not 100% the number of units that were bought, but that's one way you can do it because that number is for the individual ASIN, the individual color or size, all right? Another way, she was talking about Product Opportunity Explorer, right? You can now put in an ASIN into Product Opportunity Explorer. And if it's part of a variation, you guys know what a variation is, right? You know, colors, sizes, quantity. If you put just one of them in there, the first ASINs that come up are all of the other variations in that same listing. So what you can do to estimate which one is the biggest seller is look at the number of clicks over the last year that it had, right? And then this way, you can estimate which ASIN is selling the most, which color, which size. Now, this only works, though, if all of the colors have been in stock for 360 days, the full year, because that's how this number shows. So that's the second way to see which child item is selling the best. Another way is using Helium-10. How many people here use Helium-10 already? All right, about half, okay? So in our Chrome extension, you run the tool Review Insights, and then look at the recent reviews and check the percentage breakdown of each color or each size, how many reviews it has. And actually, when I did it on this listing, it was a 100% identical to the Product Opportunity Explorer. So there's 3 different ways to be able to tell which color or which size is selling the best, even though they all have the same BSR, all right? Number 2 strategy, compare your conversion rate by keyword. What am I showing here? What is this page? Search query performance, all right? So this is search query performance. How many people are using this actively? Only 5, 6 of you. Everybody should have their hand raised. By next year, when you come back, I want everybody to raise your hand. Search query performance is amazing, the kind of details it can give you. So what you're seeing here is you want to look at the total clicks for one keyword. So this keyword here had 1,600 clicks, and then look at the total purchases. So 16, all right? So less than 1% was the rate. And then you compare your clicks. ASIN count, that means your product, if you're looking at your search query performance. And so you could see mine was 193 and 3. So my conversion rate was better than the overall one. So again, compare your conversion rate for your product with the keyword overall to kind of see how you're doing. Really interesting things that you could never ever see before Product Opportunity Explorer came out with it. Another one, I said Product Opportunity Explorer, I meant search query performance. Another thing in search query performance is understanding where your impressions are coming from, all right? That's a really cool metric that search query performance shows you, is overall the search volume versus the impressions, all right? So the first one, I know it's hard for you in the back to see, it says 3,700 search volume. And then the impressions is 4,400. So the first thing you might be wondering is, wait a minute, how can I have more impressions than searches? What's the answer? Who knows? How can you have more, how can your product show up in the search results more times than people even search for it? That's what you see right there. Anybody know? Jason? Ads. All right, so you could be showing up organically. That's one impression. But if you show up near the top of the page in sponsored ads, you can actually have 2 impressions sometimes from just one search, all right? So now, this gives you the information in search query performance, but you don't really know where are these impressions coming from. So that's where you can use like Helium 10, for example. Anybody know what tool this is? Those of you who use Helium 10? Keyword tracker. This is keyword tracker. And you want to look at the organic rank, that's where your product shows up in the search results, versus the sponsored rank. So now for that one keyword, now it's clear why I had so many impressions, because most of the time, my organic rank, I was in the top 10. And almost all of the time, my sponsored rank was also in the top 10. So now I have a little bit clearer picture what is going on in search query performance. Now I can see where those impressions are coming from. Now, the other keyword here, the second one, it had almost the same searches, 3,600. But remember how the first one had more than 4,000 impressions? Look at this one. It only has 1,000. So now you look at this information, and this is good, but you're like wondering, wait, why on one keyword I have more impressions than search volume? This other keyword, same exact search volume, but I only have 25% of the impressions. So we go back to keyword tracker again and understand it. And now it makes clear, it's clear. For the organic rank, look at the organic rank. Sometimes I'm on page 2, maybe even page 3. Sponsored rank, I'm usually on page 2, and then so now it's clear. If you want to improve your impressions, meaning how many times somebody sees your product when they search a keyword, number one, you've got to first maybe increase your bid in sponsored ads, all right, so you can get on the top of the page. And then if you get more conversions, well, hopefully your organic rank will increase. But again, instead of being blind and just looking at this information and not knowing where it's coming from, this is how you can combine Amazon data with Helium 10 data or other tools that you're using to really get a clearer picture with what's going on. Another strategy is using special features. This is a certain field in the back end if you have trouble indexing. So this is a test case study I was doing. It's some socks. Now these socks had the words, if you can read this, bring me coffee. Any coffee lovers here? If you guys like coffee, the Amazon Global Selling booth has some good coffee there. But anyways, these socks were about coffee. Now I made the listing perfectly, all right? I made a really good listing, but what I found out was a lot of the keywords weren't getting indexed. Being indexed doesn't mean ranking. Index means being searchable on Amazon. So a lot of the keywords, I ran an index checker like coffee gifts for women, coffee gifts for men. This is my number one keywords. I had those keywords in my listing, but Amazon was not indexing me. The reason was because it's not normal to think of coffee for socks, right? So the Amazon algorithm, it would not relate coffee keywords with my listing because it's probably thinking like, why would a clothing listing need to be indexed for coffee. Doesn't make sense, right? So I needed to see what were the keywords that was making the phrase coffee gifts for men, coffee gifts for women, and some of these other keywords. What was causing the whole phrase to be not indexed? So I took all of the phrases that were not indexed and I just put the individual words. And then now I could see the actual words. Coffee was what was making all of the coffee keywords not indexed. And then another one was daughter and son. There was just some random keywords. So what you can do, now those keywords I actually had in my listing. I did the right thing. You know, it was in my title. It was in my bullet points. And I still couldn't get indexed. So has that ever happened to you where you have a new listing and you have a keyword you know is important, but you can't even run advertising? You can't get impressions. You can't rank for it. This happens to a lot of us. So one trick that I found is a lot of categories in Amazon USA, there is a back-end field in the listing called special features. Has anybody ever used that here, special features? 1, 2, that's what I thought. 3 people here have used this. Almost nobody knows about this, all right? So if you ever have trouble getting indexed for a keyword, especially a new listing, put it in the special features field. 100% of the time that I've done that, I will now be indexed in 15 minutes. All right, this is the cure-all fix for getting indexed. All right, so take the keyword, put it in special features, wait 15, 20 minutes, try it again. Usually you should be indexed. Lastly, this is especially important now that we're in Q4 and we have different holidays coming up. You want to look at when your competitors were selling the most historically. Maybe it's a Prime Day, maybe it's a Black Friday, maybe it's just any random time. So use the BSR chart. You know, Helium 10 has that. There's many tools that have a BSR chart, and find when is the lowest number. Take that day, the day that they had the most sales, the lowest BSR, put it into Amazon Brand Analytics. All right, if you have brand registry, everybody has access to brand analytics. Go to that exact day that they had the most sales and then put that ASIN in, and then you could see which keywords they were one of the top 3 clicked. All right, so that's one way to see some of the keywords that resulted in them having the best sales day of their year. All right, another way is using Cerebro. How many people use Cerebro in here from Helium 10? All right, a lot more than the others, all right? If you have the Diamond access, you're gonna be able to look historically, any month in the last 2 years, where the product was ranking. So maybe I saw a competitor product and I saw that in June of 2022, or maybe I'm trying to look at who is doing really good in November of 2022, and they had their best sales in November of 2022. I put in their product into Cerebro, and then it's kind of like taking a time machine. I go back now to November 2022 and see where all of the keywords, where they're ranking in the search results organically, or all of the keywords, they had a really high bid, so that they were at the very top of page. I can see every single keyword that they were ranking for during their best month. So it's really important because, for example, if you're selling a Christmas product, right, like maybe a Christmas tree ornament, can you do research on what's the most important keywords for them in July? No, they probably don't even have their listing active for Christmas tree ornament in July. It's probably closed or no inventory. So you try to use brand analytics, you try to use Helium 10, nothing will come up if you're looking in July. But if it's July, you can go back in time to November or December of last year or the year before, and now you can see, even if that product is not in stock right now, you're going to be able to see all of the keywords that were bringing them sales in that exact month in the last 2 years. So that's another great tip. That's about it